Right now, AI is eliminating 16,000 US jobs every single month. That number comes from Goldman Sachs, published April 2026. And before you assume it's factory workers and truck drivers, Goldman's data shows something nobody expected. The hardest hit workers right now are not blue collar. They're not manual laborers. They're people with college degrees, sitting at desks, doing the exact kind of work that felt safe 10 years ago.
But here's what almost nobody is covering honestly. While 92 million jobs are projected to be displaced by 2030, the World Economic Forum in the same report projects 170 million new jobs created in the same period. The net is positive, but that number means nothing to someone whose specific job is disappearing right now. So this video is not about whether AI is good or bad. It's about a single practical question, one that affects every person watching. Which jobs are actually going? Which ones are actually safe? And what does the research, not the headlines, actually say? Let's go through every category in order of risk.
Before we get into specific jobs, there's one finding you need to understand, because it flips everything most people believe. Every automation wave in history, steam engines, assembly lines, computers, hit low-wage, low-skill workers first. Educated, office-based workers were always the safe ones. This wave is different. Anthropic published research in March 2026, tracking exactly how people are actually using Claude in real workplaces. Not theoretical exposure, actual observed use. They're finding the workers with the highest AI exposure earn on average 47% more than workers with zero AI exposure. Goldman Sachs data confirms it. White-collar roles average 37 to 46% task automation potential. Skilled trade roles average 4 to 6%. A licensed electrician in 2026 has a higher AI resistance score than a paralegal. A plumber is more career secure than a financial analyst doing routine reporting. Now let's go through every category, from the most at risk to the most protected.
These are the jobs where displacement isn't a prediction anymore. It's a measurement. Data entry and document processing. 65% of data processing and information handling tasks can now be automated, according to current research. This isn't a future projection. AI processes structured data faster, cheaper, and with fewer errors than any human doing the same task. The junior analyst who spent their career pulling numbers into spreadsheets is watching that career path narrow in real time. Basic customer service and call centers. Customer service employment in the United States declined by approximately 80,000 positions between 2022 and 2024. The Klarna story tells you exactly where this is heading. The Swedish fintech company replaced 700 of roughly 3,000 customer service agents with AI in 1 year. They did rehire some, the ones needed for complex cases, identity disputes, and high-value customers. But Tier 1 support, routing, FAQs, standard resolutions, that's automated now. 80% of basic customer service roles are projected to be fully automatable within this decade.
Routine bookkeeping and basic accounting. 37% of small businesses working with AI-powered accounting software have already phased out bookkeeping roles. Variance reporting, budget to actuals, transaction categorization, AI does these tasks faster and with fewer errors than humans performing the same standard functions. Entry-level content and basic copywriting. Not all writing, but specifically the kind that follows a formula. Product descriptions written to a template, basic SEO articles following a keyword brief, standard email sequences. AI handles all of these at scale. Employment growth in marketing consulting and web content has already slowed sharply, according to Goldman Sachs employment tracking data. The workers most exposed in all of these categories are people aged 22 to 25, entry-level workers entering the workforce right now. Employment in AI-exposed entry-level roles for this age group has declined 13%, according to recent labor data. The jobs new graduates used to use as stepping stones, their first data job, their first content role, their first customer service position, those rungs are being removed from the ladder before they can use them.
These are jobs that are not disappearing, but they are changing so fast that workers who don't adapt will find themselves displaced, not by AI directly, but by other humans who are using AI better than them. Junior software developers. This one is complicated and worth unpacking carefully. AI is not replacing experienced software engineers, but it is automating the exact tasks that junior developers relied on to build their skills. Writing standard functions, generating boilerplate code, debugging common errors, creating basic APIs. The job category is not gone. The bottom rungs are narrowing. Junior legal roles. Paralegals, legal researchers, document reviewers. In 2024, 82% of UK lawyers reported adopting generative AI, an almost fourfold jump from 2023. AI handles document review, contract comparison, and legal research with increasing accuracy. What's keeping the overall legal employment numbers steady, at least for now, is a lag. Firms are adopting the tools but haven't yet reorganized their billing structures and headcount around them. Junior lawyer salaries dropped 3%, even as hiring held steady. That gap between tool adoption and headcount reduction will close.
Mid-level financial analysts. Wall Street banks expect to cut around 200,000 roles over the next 3 to 5 years. The roles being targeted are mid-level, the analysts who produce first drafts of research, build standard financial models, and prepare pitch books. JP Morgan has already deployed AI systems capable of reviewing commercial loan agreements in seconds, work that previously occupied teams of analysts for hours. What's safe is the judgment layer, the senior analyst who decides what the model means, who communicates it, and who owns the risk of the recommendation. Standard graphic design and production roles. Here is where the story gets nuanced. Designers who are using AI image generation tools are producing 5 to 10 times more concepts than designers who aren't. That productivity boost is making those roles more valuable. But the designer whose entire job was production work, resizing assets, building standard templates, creating variations to spec, is competing directly with AI that does the same thing in seconds. Employment growth in graphic design has already slowed. What's growing is AI-augmented creative direction.
These are jobs where AI is absolutely changing the day-to-day work, but the core of the role is protected by something AI cannot replicate. The workers in these categories are not at risk of replacement. They are at risk of being outcompeted by colleagues who use AI more effectively. Teachers and educators. AI can generate lesson plans, grade multiple choice assessments, and personalize content for individual students at scale. Those tasks are already being automated. What AI cannot do is the actual work of teaching, reading a classroom, identifying the student who's struggling but not saying anything, knowing when to slow down and when to push, building the trust that makes a struggling student willing to ask a question. Teachers who use AI to eliminate their administrative burden and spend that time on actual human instruction are going to be better teachers. Teachers who resist it entirely are going to be outperformed. The job is not disappearing. The job is changing.
Marketing strategists and campaign managers. A marketing manager in 2024 spent roughly 40% of their time on reports, data pulls, and content drafts. In 2026, AI handles most of that. The role has not disappeared, it has evolved into something more strategic. The time that was consumed by execution is now available for campaign strategy, creative direction, and cross-functional coordination. The roles that are shrinking are execution roles. The roles that are growing are strategy roles. Mid-level managers. This one is uncomfortable to say directly, but the data is clear. McKinsey projects that up to 70% of office tasks could be automated by 2030, starting with repetitive cognitive work. A significant portion of middle management is repetitive cognitive work, aggregating status updates, producing reports, scheduling, routing decisions. AI handles all of that. What survives is the human part of management, motivating people, navigating conflict, making judgment calls about personnel, building the trust that makes teams function.
These are the jobs where the research is clearest. Not safe because someone decided to protect them. Safe because of something structural, something AI cannot cross, regardless of how capable it becomes in the next 5 years. Registered nurses and nurse practitioners. Healthcare is adding roughly 40,000 jobs a month in the United States. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects nurse practitioners as one of the fastest growing occupations through 2034, with a 45% increase in demand. Why can't AI replace a nurse? Because nursing is not primarily an information task. It is a physical, emotional, and ethical task performed in an environment that changes by the minute. Skilled trades, electricians, plumbers, HVAC technicians. This is the finding that should change how you think about education and careers. An electrician has an AI resistance score of 94 out of 100. A plumber scores 91. Only 4 to 6% of construction and maintenance tasks are currently suitable for automation. Why? Because every job site is physically unique. Walls are uneven, wiring is messy, pipes don't line up with blueprints. AI struggles the moment the environment stops being predictable. Robots do not yet exist at scale that can navigate a half-built structure, an unexpected leak, and a last-minute design change with their hands in real time, with the accountability of a licensed professional. Mental health professionals, therapists, counselors, psychiatrists. Therapists score 97 out of 100 on AI resistance. Demand for mental health professionals is projected to grow 19% through 2034. Why is this essentially untouchable? Because the core mechanism of therapy is the human relationship. Progress in therapy comes from trust, empathy, and nuanced listening that builds over time. AI can deliver information about mental health. It cannot perform the act of therapy. And in a regulated profession where ethical accountability must rest with a licensed person, it cannot replace the practitioner.
Surgeons and medical specialists. Surgical AI score is 96 out of 100. Robotic surgical systems exist, and they are genuinely impressive, but they are controlled by surgeons, not replacing them. Every surgical procedure involves real-time adaptation to unexpected findings, split-second decisions about complications, and three-dimensional physical judgment built through years of embodied practice. The human surgeon makes every consequential decision because the cost of AI error in a surgical setting is irreversible. AI is making surgeons more capable. It is not making surgeons unnecessary.
Emergency responders, paramedics, firefighters, crisis workers. A chaotic environment, by definition, has no place for pattern-driven AI response. First responders navigate physically dangerous, unpredictable, emotionally charged situations where the standard playbook fails constantly. They carry legal accountability. They make life or death judgments in real time. Demand for emergency medical technicians is growing. This is not a category AI will enter in any meaningful timeframe.
If you look at every job that is safe versus every job that is at risk, one pattern explains almost all of it. A job is protected when it requires at least one of three things that AI genuinely cannot replicate, and the strongest jobs require all three. Physical presence in an unpredictable environment. AI cannot navigate a plumbing emergency. It cannot respond to a patient whose condition is deteriorating in real time. It cannot fix something that doesn't match the blueprint. Physical presence in the real world remains the single strongest predictor of AI resistance. Genuine human connection with accountability. Wherever humans need to trust a human and wherever liability requires a person, that role is protected. Judgment in genuinely novel situations. AI is extraordinary at tasks it has seen before. It is significantly weaker when the situation has no precedent. The senior strategist, the crisis manager, the surgeon facing an unexpected complication, their value is precisely their ability to act well when the data runs out.
This framework applies to every job category. Run your own job through those three questions, not as a prediction, but as a diagnosis. The most important data point in all of this research is the one about bank tellers. When ATMs arrived, the number of tellers per branch dropped significantly. But the total number of bank tellers in the United States actually increased because ATMs made it cheaper to open new branches, and the tellers who remained shifted from counting cash to selling financial products and building customer relationships. The technology eliminated the repetitive task. It made human work more valuable by removing the low-value work around it. That is the most likely outcome for most workers in most industries, if they adapt.
LinkedIn data shows AI has already added 1.3 million new roles globally, and annual AI-related job creation is projected at 6 million for 2026 alone. The roles being created are not all technical. They are roles that require humans to work with AI. AI-augmented designers, AI-assisted analysts, prompt engineers, AI safety specialists, human AI collaboration leads. The question is not whether AI is coming for your job. For many jobs, the honest answer is yes. Some of the tasks, definitely. Maybe all of it, eventually. But the real question is whether you are on the right side of that change when it arrives. That is every category of AI job impact in 2026, based on the actual research. If you want every update like this as the data comes in, subscribe. I cover AI news that actually explains what's happening and why it matters for your life.